I'm Loraine Ballard, Morrill, Director of News and Community Affairs for iHeartMedia, and I am so thrilled to be here today because we've got a lot of young people that have something to say about leadership and about youth advocacy. They are with the Health Promotion Council Advocacy Institute, and they are involved in really taking the lead in a lot of issues, including health. We're going to be talking about smoking, cessation, vaping, and all that kind of stuff, but also about leadership. So let's begin by introducing, rather than me introducing you, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, how old you are, what school you go to. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Marquita Young. I'm 17, and I attend the High School for Creative and Performing Arts.
My name is Jada Rasola. I'm 17 years old, and I attend the High School for Creative and Performing Arts.
I'm Harmony Ullery. I'm 18 years old, and I attend Mastery Charter Pickett Campus.
My name is Sydney Grimes. I'm 18 years old, and I attend Arts Academy at Benjamin Rush.
My name is Tajay Daniels. I'm 18 years old, and I go to George Washington Carver High School of Engineering and Science.
All right, so I'm going to begin by asking you to describe what this Health Advocacy Institute is, and you are youth ambassador. So I'm going to start with you, Marquita. Tell us what this organization is and what it is to be a youth ambassador.
So to be a youth ambassador means helping people make change and being passionate about what you do. A lot of the work we do involves talking to people and trying to make change, sustainable changes in our community. So
that's great. And Jada, there's so many young people that are stepping up and becoming leaders these days. Tell us why you decided personally to get involved with this and become a leader the way you have.
So I got involved with the Advocacy Institute when I was 14 years old. I'll just give you a little background on the Advocacy Institute. It's a youth empowerment program that focuses on and trains young people how to make sustainable changes in their communities through policy, media, and community advocacy. I got involved because I feel like change will not happen unless you are the person to stand up and you are the person to do it. You can sit around all day and hope and complain about, oh, I want this to change and I want that to change. But unless you are the person doing it and you're inspiring other young people to create the change, then it won't happen. I also believe that young people, this is very cliche, but we are the future leaders of tomorrow. So therefore, the changes we want to see in the future that we envision, we must create.
Wow, I am really impressed. In fact, you all impressed me so much. Harmony, tell us about why you're involved.
So it's personal to me. I'm involved because my mom, she's a smoker and she has a lot of health issues. And I was affected by those. I lost all my hair. And, it taught me, it kind of empowered me because it taught me how to show other people how to teach people about tobacco.
Right, exactly. And what better way of doing that is peer-to-peer, like teen to teen. Absolutely. Sydney, what about you? How did you get involved and why are you involved?
I got involved in the Advocacy Institute when I was 14 years old. I joined because my mom told me about it and I thought it was a great opportunity. When I got into the program, everybody knows smoking is bad for you. My father was a smoker, so I felt like this was very personal to me. So when I joined the program and I learned about the effects of it, the harms of it, and how the tobacco industry purposely targets certain people based on certain things, it made me upset, and I wanted to inform people, educate people, and let them know that this is a serious topic and it has to end.
Okay, and Tajay Daniels, tell us about you.
I was introduced to this program through a friend, and like Jada said, once you join the program and you're in it for the 12-week session, you realize that you are the doer. Most people just say they're going to do something or say they're going to get up, and you are the actual person getting up and going out and doing what most people don't.
That's great. Listen, a lot of what you do is around smoking and vaping, and I'd be very interested to hear your own opinions about that. It seems that smoking has actually gone down among your peer group, but vaping is a little bit on the rise, especially something I heard called Juul. I don't know if you've heard of that, and I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about that. Marquita, what are kids doing these days? They're not smoking as much, but they might be vaping, right?
Yes, so there is a lot of juuling going on around, especially with adolescents. I know a lot of my friends are turning away from tobacco-related tobacco products, and they're getting more interested in Juuls. Juuls are very highly addictive. They do contain nicotine as well, and I do see a lot of growing popularity. It really upsets me because it seems like the tobacco industry is constantly coming up with innovative ways to draw youth in. And like someone mentioned earlier, they do target specific communities, and the youth being one. So it's just really upsetting to see how many teenagers are also misinformed about the fact that Juuls do have a lot of horrible effects on us as well, because nicotine is very highly addictive. So
Right. They say that it's more addictive than heroin, actually.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which you all nodded your head, so you know. Jada, tell us more about Juuls, because I'm just learning about it myself. Why is it so appealing to young people?
So the Juul is very new and new and emerging. So what it is, it's a nicotine delivery device. And I recently went to a conference and I heard someone speak about nicotine in this way, and I never thought about it like this. They said that the tobacco industry uses tobacco to sell nicotine, and nicotine is the drug that addicts people. So people think tobacco is bad, but in reality, tobacco is not the thing that's addicting these millions of people who are smoking it. It's the nicotine that are keeping the people on it. So the tobacco industry and different industries are just finding new ways to keep people on these things that are not healthy. It's very new and emerging, so we don't know the long-term health effects. Like, think about it. When the cigarette first came out, nobody really knew the health effects of it. Superstars were smoking, movie stars were smoking, everyone was smoking, until we found out that people were dying of health-related problems like cancer. So we won't really know the full effects of these nicotine delivery devices until well in the future, until people start developing problems due to these devices. I think it's so addictive to young people is because they're very specific on who they target. They target us through their flavors, their bright products. I remember when the blue cigarette first came out. It came out in all different flavors, and it was blue, like it was bright blue. And young people are attracted to colors and are attracted to flavors. It's no reason why a nicotine product has a flavor like Yummy Gummy Bear or Sour Patches or Skittles that no adult, well, maybe some adults, but that's directly targeted at kids and marketed to kids.
Yeah, that sounds kind of evil. So, Harmony, let's talk about not only vaping, but these little mini cigars that you can buy at the, like the corner store. I remember last year when I did a similar thing as to what we're doing today, that I talked to a young woman who was addicted to those because they were in various flavors and you could get them, and they were being sold to these kids that really shouldn't be buying them, right?
Yeah, my personal opinion on it is I feel like it's horrible due to the fact that they look at the youth as replacement smokers. So now that we're more educated on tobacco and the harms of tobacco, they create more products and come out with more things and come out with a different approach to us to make us want to go out and try new things and try different things. So I just think they want to, try new things to make the youth to pull the youth in.
Yeah, to pull youth in. Well, I remember back in the day, this is before your time, but there was this character called Joe Camel. And you've all heard about it, probably because you're very well informed. But Joe Camel was a character that was almost like a cartoon character, which was very attractive to kids. I mean, why would you have a cartoon character promoting cigarette smoking? And so the whole vaping thing, that's really fascinating to me, because I think a lot of people understand what the negative impact is of smoking, and I think we've been very good at letting people know that it's expensive, that it can make your breath smell bad, and there are lots of different things that aren't good about it. But vaping is a little bit different. Do you find that among your friends that they're doing this now? Are they vaping?
I can speak from my point of view. A lot of kids in my school, they don't smoke cigarettes, but they definitely do vape the pens, because like Jada said, they come in various flavors and different flavors, taste. So people think that it's not that addictive and it's fun. It's similar to a hookah pen. So it's more cool. It smells good. And a lot of people are uneducated of how it's still addictive. It still contains nicotine. It's harmful any way you put it. Smoking it, there's been cases of those pens blowing up, harming people. So overall, it is still a bad product. It's just the equivalent of smoking a cigarette.
I'd like to know more about hookah because I don't know very much about that. So I'm looking to you to inform me about it. I see these stores, these shops, these restaurants popping up all over the place. And I know that there's like a water container and there's like little tubes and you smoke it. It's a group thing. What's the hookah thing? Describe it to me. And those come in all kinds of flavors too, right?
Yes. So a lot of adults and young adults and teens think that hookah is just water vapor, but it does in some cases contain nicotine. And we've recently learned that an hour of hookah is equivalent to 100 cigarettes.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can add a bit to that. So what hookah is, if you put tobacco in the top, so it burns the tobacco, and as you smoke it, the water as it boils, that's what burns the tobacco, and you add the flavoring in that as well. Hookah is not very cleansy. It's not very healthy to do because when you smoke a hookah in the tube, your spit gets stuck in the tube. So everyone who smokes the hookah, they're now smoking the person's spit. So say, for example, someone
Ew.
had like a sickness, an illness, or a disease. You're now getting that when you smoke the hookah because they don't really change the tube. So it's not very healthy to do, and it does contain tobacco. As Tajay said, a 1 hour session is equivalent to 100 cigarettes.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's really bad for you. But it's kind of a social thing, right? It seems like there are lots of different tubes. So I guess a bunch of people sit around this hookah and they smoke together. Is that how that works?
They pass the tube.
They pass
Or
the tube.
sometimes it's two.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have, like Jada said, 1 or 2, and they have mouthpieces, so you just take it off and pass it to the next person and share it like that.
Yeah, that sounds so gross. Ugh. Okay, well, so when you talk to your peers, what do you say to them? Because a lot of times, well, definitely they don't want to hear from adults because, teenagers don't like to listen to adults, and that's just the fact of life. But when you talk to your peers, the people that are your age, what kinds of things do you tell them? How can you tell them not to do vaping or doing hookah and all that stuff?
Well, a lot of the time I try to explain to them that it's not cool because specifically, as was mentioned earlier, like the targeting, it's not okay. And the more that we buy into these products, the more that they are growing and the more that the tobacco industry is going to continue to make them. So I do try and allow my friends to know, like, we don't hate the smoker, we just hate the smoke. We don't like tobacco. So a lot of the times I have to be careful in my delivery about how I approach it, but I do try and let them know the effects, definitely the harms, how many people die every single year, and just so they can, stay informed. And the more and more people are educated and hear about this information, the least likely they are to continue to use the product.
Yeah. Well, let's go down the line. What do you say to your fellow students?
When I talk about tobacco specifically to people that I know, I don't have any friends that smoke tobacco for, say, like cigarettes and things like that. But when I talk to other young people that smoke, I tell them that about the targeting of the tobacco industry, and this fact that sticks with me like until this day. A tobacco executive was asked, did he smoke cigarettes? And he said, we don't smoke this stuff. We reserve that right for the young, the poor, the black, and the stupid.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So they admitted various times to targeting young people and only viewing them as dollar signs. And I try to send that message to other young people, as well as telling them some of the facts, 480,000 people die each year from tobacco related illnesses. So that's some of the stuff I try to form my speech, I guess you can say, around.
Yeah, sure. And I guess the point, you make such an interesting point, because what I notice is that you see billboard advertising in poor neighborhoods, in neighborhoods where people don't have a lot of money and are targeted, really, but the cigarettes in particular. So you see that very specific, just basically what you said. You know, the poor, the people of color, the youth.
Yeah, the tobacco industry goes out of their way to direct their ads towards underserved communities, low poverty communities. That's why when you go into a community like maybe North Philadelphia, you see like many tobacco ads. You're bombarded with them as you walk into a store. But when you go in a community like Chestnut Hill, you don't see as many tobacco ads. And I find that kind of like heartbreaking that they target us and they're allowed to do that. And then they kill people. Like their product is known to kill off half of its users when used. And this is legal, and I don't know how.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of money. That's how, sadly. Harmony, I want to talk to you a bit about family, discussions of smoking. You mentioned that you have a family member who smokes.
My mother.
Your mother, does she still smoke?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, it's hard to quit, right?
Yeah.
Has she tried? I'm sure she's tried.
She's tried a lot of different methods, but nothing really seems to work.
Right. Well, so what do you think about how the family dynamic impacts people's smoking? I mean, I think probably for you, it had the opposite effect. You probably were anti-smoking because of that, right? But in a lot of instances, that's not true. Because if you have family members who smoke, you've got cigarettes or vaping or whatever lying around, which obviously makes it a lot easier to have access, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try, like, my grandfather, he was a heroin addict. So he was able to, like, stop doing heroin, but he still smoked cigarettes. And I try to, like, show my mom, like, your father, he was the one doing these things. Like, you understand that heroin is, like, such a bad drug, and we all look down on heroin, but you're still addicted to tobacco, and you're not looking down on that, knowing that this can kill you one day. So my approach, like, I try to come off with an emotional approach to my mom, to try to let her know, like, your father's still on tobacco. You're still doing tobacco. I'm your daughter. I lost all my hair because of the tobacco smoke around me. And I just, like, try to hit her with facts. But she tries her best, and I see that she tries her best. But the tobacco industry pulled her in already. She spends a lot of money on tobacco, and it's sad, but...
Yeah, it's tough because it is a very hard habit to kick. If I may get a little personal, can you tell me more about how you lost your hair because of the smoke?
Yeah, okay. So when I was younger, me and my friends, like, we were young. We went into a gas station, and we would go there, and, like, we would buy tobacco products, and we would use them ourselves. And we were 14 at the time, like, and we were able to buy these things. So we would try and have fun with it and play with it, but my body started rejecting it, and I started losing my hair. And not only that, being around my mom and the smoking, that affected me too. So that's how I got sick and lost my hair.
Yeah, so you got alopecia as a result of that. Yeah,
alopecia areata.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's tough when you have a family member who is a smoker because, again, it's so difficult to quit. And I remember being surprised when a doctor told me that it was more difficult to quit than heroin. And I don't think people necessarily understand that, especially when they're starting, when they're young, right? And not to mention the fact that it's still pretty easy, isn't it, to buy?
It's really easy to buy.
Yeah, you can be underage, but, you can still buy, what do they call the loosies? Cigarettes that you can just get one at a time at the corner store and stuff. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that it's so easy to buy these products?
So we know that 90% of smokers start before the age of 18, and I think that's just ridiculous. Why are kids who are underage and it's not legal able to go in stores and buy stuff that could potentially kill them or potentially get them addicted to something that will kill them longer down the line? Smokers or current smokers potentially lose at least 10 years off their life. So that's 10 years you could have been pursuing a career or doing something that we're doing, and you're spending it smoking tobacco. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. You wanted to say something to that?
Basically, just to add on what Tajay said, everyone is affected by tobacco, whether you smoke or not. You're affected from firsthand smoke. The smoker who smokes the cigarette themselves. Secondhand smoke. From me, if I'm smoking a cigarette and I have people around me, you're affected. Thousands of people lose their life from secondhand smoke. Thirdhand smoke is just if you live in a house and you smoke, the residue from the cigarette smoke is left on the walls, your furniture, clothing. So animals, your animals are twice as likely to have cancer of their owner as a smoker. So tobacco affects everyone, whether you're a smoker. So when people say, oh, I don't smoke, whether you smoke or not, you're being affected by tobacco every single day.
Right. What do you think about all these new laws that have prevented people from smoking in locations, except in certain casinos? I've noticed. One time I went to a casino I will not name, just to see what it was like because I've just never been there. And I went in there and everyone was allowed to smoke. And by the time I was done, I had to wash my hair. I had to wash my clothes. I was so just covered with smoke smell that it was just the worst and made me not want to go back there anymore. But you see these environments where still smoking is still allowed, but it's also, I guess, encouraging that they're now making sure that people can't smoke in a lot of locations too, right? So public policy is really making a difference. What would you like to see law in terms of public policy? The city has done a lot, but there's certainly more that can be done. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, so I would like to see the state of Pennsylvania raise the legal purchase age to 21 in order to buy tobacco. That would prevent a lot of young people from smoking. As Tajay said, 90% of smokers start before the age of 18. So when up in the age, it probably would prevent most of the smokers who are smoking and drop the smoking rate in Pennsylvania. I also would like to see pharmacies stop selling tobacco as well, because pharmacies are supposed to be a place of health, and they're selling these products that are killing people. How could you sell a tobacco product and then sell medicine that's supposed to help people get healthy? So I think we're on our way to having these types of things be brought up and being discussed. I know a bill is going to be introduced. It just needs another sponsor in Pennsylvania. So we work a lot on these different campaigns. Someone else can jump in on a different campaign.
Also the menthol and flavoring ban. Menthol is the only flavor left of tobacco. It's used for cigarettes. It's a mint flavor that's used to help soothe the throat for the smoker while you're smoking. So a lot of people, when they first start smoking, they use menthol, and the fact that it's considered a flavor because it is mint, and the fact that it's still out for people to buy is ridiculous. It needs to be stopped, just like flavoring ban. So hopefully we see the policy become active and brought up around mentholated and flavoring ban.
Yeah, and I hear those methylated cigarettes are really bad for you. Yeah, for sure. And there's also all kinds of other types of cigarettes. They're clove cigarettes. Have you heard of those? They're clove cigarettes that aren't really, I think they have some tobacco in them, but they have a lot of clove flavoring. And they, I'm told, are delicious. I don't know, but I'm saying that there's, again, the flavoring is really an issue. Now, I'm so fascinated by it. You're all so well-spoken. You're such leaders. You're so articulate, and you really care. And I wonder if I feel very encouraged by you all because it feels like there's a movement of young people. Don't you think? Do you feel that? Yeah. Definitely. It's like, I know that the critics were saying, how's it possible that young people would organize these anti-gun rallies across the country or these walkouts and all that stuff? And I remember, and I am dating myself, but back in the day, back in the way back, take the Wayback Machine to the Vietnam War. And, we demonstrated against that. And we were young and, we didn't question it. We were questioning authority. But what do you have to say about this, to me, this incredibly inspiring wave of people your age who are doing these amazing things? They're creating national and international movements that are hopefully going to make a difference.
I think people should be the change that they want to see. I remember one day I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this post and it really inspired me. And it said that one day when you're 70 years old and you're watching TV, you're not going to want to hear and see the same problems that are going on today. I think it's great that people like me and everyone sitting on the stage is taking the initiative, to make change because, a lot of the time, if we don't do it, then who will? And also, you should, like I said earlier, be the change that you want to see. So.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just go down the line.
Could you repeat the question?
Sorry. Okay, no, the question is, I'm saying I'm very encouraged by the fact that your generation is really stepping forward in ways that are just remarkable. I mean, actually organizing national and international rallies in the case recently, of course, about the gun laws and trying to get sensible gun legislation. And I wonder how you feel about that. I mean, it must be very exciting to see that happening.
It definitely is very exciting. I think when you take a look at history, you see that all of the major movements at the forefront of them were young people. When you think of the civil rights movement and the demonstrations and the walkouts and the jail-ins, young people were at the forefront of that. Young people are like the innovators, we're the vision, we're the people who have the creative ideas. And I think that a lot of times I hear like adults say, back in the day, like children are supposed to be seen and not heard. But if we weren't the ones to speak up about the issues that we saw that we didn't really agree with or didn't like, you wouldn't see such change happening, such as the rallies around gun laws, and there wouldn't be as much publicity. If we continue to let the same problems happen over and over and over again, who would be the people that were speaking up and standing up and creating this change? Eventually, the adults who are in power right now, the decision makers, they're going to be gone. So we need that type of training and that type of leadership and that type of confidence to stand up and to take initiative to make change.
Boy, awesome. Harmony, what about you?
I feel like it's amazing that young people are standing up. Honestly, like when I first started, like as I kept going with it, it inspired me to do more. Like me and my best friend, a week ago, we had went to Harrisburg to talk to legislators about the gun laws, and we like protested. We had a nice time doing it. We met a lot of people. Also, like through the Advocacy Institute, I've been standing up more. Like everything that I want to stand up for, I know I can because I have a voice. So yeah, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, let's go down the
like
line.
Harmony said, it is an amazing job because, like everyone else said, if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? If we keep allowing problems to be passed down generation, and you wait until you're older and you're like, this problem has happened, why is it happening? It's time for us now as young people to stand up, advocate, fight for problems in our community, talk and speak to adults and let them know that this is what's going on, this is what we feel, and this is the change that needs to happen. So if it doesn't happen, no one else will. So it's very important that we are standing up doing this.
Oh gosh, you're making me smile hard. Tajay?
So like Jada said, standing up and fighting for what you believe in and fighting for what you want dates back decades and decades, and I feel like it's already ingrained in our youth over the years. It's ingrained in our culture and our genes to stand up and basically do what we need to do as youth and as adolescents and basically fight for what we believe in.
Wow, I am inspired. Well, we have an audience here, and I'm going to put them on the spot. I'd like to talk to some of you. Is anyone out there interested in participating? I know you're all looking away now and off into the distance, but I wonder if you could talk about this leadership, about this incredible movement that's happening. You know, you want to go ahead? Okay, Amanda Irizarry. Well, first of all, tell us who you are, and step up here towards the middle, and you could look over there at that microphone.
That's great. Okay.
Camera.
Hey, everyone. Hey, guys. I'm looking at this one. Great. Yeah. So my name is Amanda Irizarry. I happen to be the program manager for the Advocacy Institute. So I have the just incredible privilege and honor of mentoring and teaching and educating and empowering these young people here on the stage and here in the audience. So I mean, I'm the cheesy, cliche adult that gushes over these kids every time they do something awesome, because it's our responsibility. It's my responsibility as an adult to give young people a platform so that their voices can be heard and their stories can be told. And it's up to me to empower these young people to understand just how incredible they are, how gifted they are, how talented they are, how powerful they are. I always say that when you look outside and you point out all the issues, everything that's wrong in our world, young people have the solutions for those problems. They have the innovation, they have the creativity, and they have it all, but they need someone to help them like map it out, figure it out, get the language around it, get the tools necessary to create a movement behind their action. And so I'm always excited and really hype and just over the moon proud of these young people because they work incredibly hard. You know, they have so many other opportunities to do anything else. They could do anything else on Saturday mornings, but they come to the Advocacy Institute for 3 hours and learn about advocacy and youth empowerment and how to be activists in their communities. And so it speaks a great deal to see teenagers today doing this kind of work and saying that, social change matters, that advocacy matters, that our communities matter. And so, like they said, it's up to them. They're not the leaders of tomorrow. They're the leaders of today. And so it's going to start with adults believing in these young leaders and giving them an opportunity to create change.
Wow, what a great mentor you have up there. That's pretty awesome. All right, who else wants to join in the conversation and talk about leadership and why you're involved and what kind of change you want to see made? And I believe that Amanda's going to force you to come up here. No, come on up. Yay. Okay, what's your name? And how old are you?
Okay. Hi, my name is Rashida Muhammad, and I'm 17 years old. I started the advocacy. I became a part of the Advocacy Institute when I was 14 years old because one of my favorite aunts died from smoking so much tobacco, and she didn't listen because she was so addicted to it. So it made me push and want to stop this because it's hurting our community and it's hurting the generation after us and before us. So it was just personal to me and to my family because a lot of my family smoke too, and I don't want to see that. So
yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Who else would like to join in? Oh, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Robbins, and I'm 16, and I joined this program when I was 13, and
why did you join?
I joined because, even as a kid, I never liked cigarettes, and my dad was a smoker, and he used to always tell me, I would go outside and he was smoking, and he would tell me, to go back in the house because he didn't want me to see him smoking, because he knew it was bad for him, but he doesn't smoke anymore, and he stopped because me and my sister, we told him it wasn't good, and he tried his best
So
to stop.
you really made a difference in his life.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And I just lost my best friend. Well, she didn't die, but I kind of distanced myself because I kept telling her time and time again to stop smoking, and she didn't listen, so I just told her we had to part ways.
Yeah, you stuck with your guns.
Yeah.
Stuck to your guns. And I think that's a hard thing to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Okay. Tell us who you are.
My name is Jasmine Rasolo, and I joined this program not only because I care so much about this topic, but also because I want to be the change I want to see in my community. So I feel like being a part of this program has made me feel like more in control of my situation or the youth in my community. Like a couple of my friends, they do hookah because they think it's cool. They think that it makes them a better person. So it's being a part of this program, I'm talking to them. I'm letting them know this is not what you want to do. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Anyone else want to volunteer? Oh, somebody's being forced to come over here. Oh, I think that microphone belongs over there. Magnetically, it's heading in that direction, right over. Oh. Okay. All right, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Tyra Bradford, and what am I answering?
Well, just why you're involved and what you want to see change.
I'm involved in the Advocacy Institute because I'm directly affected by it. I lost 3 out of my 4 grandparents to smoking cigarettes, and I try to encourage my friends not to smoke. They be like, "Oh, I don't want to hear that stuff from your program," but I'm I'm gonna tell you anyway. So, I just want to be the change I see in my community, the change that happens in my community. I want to be a part of that. So, yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, and you see, you are next. Tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Kiadra Coleman. I am a 15-year-old, and I want to make a change because plenty of people in Philadelphia is being affected by smoking, and it's just bad for you. And it don't affect you fast, but in the long while it affects you. So you just shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's hard to really get across because you are so young. I mean, part of the thing is that you tend to think yourselves being immortal. I see the microphone is being passed around. So yeah, I mean, it's not. It may not be happening today, but it could happen 5, 10 years from now that you might have lung cancer or other respiratory problems. Tell us what your name is.
I'm Nasaya Berry.
And why are you involved with this organization?
I feel like I'm involved because I'm affected by tobacco. Everybody that I know is affected, and if I can make a change to better everyone, then I should do it because my voice is being heard. Like now, it's being heard, and I want to be the change, just like everybody in here.
Yeah,
so
that's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, the guy who brought over the microphone. It's your turn. James, come on up. Okay, tell us your name. How old are you?
15.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us your name and why you're involved.
My name is James. I'm 15. I'm involved because I'm tired of the youth smoking.
You're tired of youth smoking?
Of the youth smoking.
Let's give this guy a hand. Woo! Anything else you want to add? No. Okay. All right, we can put that mic back on the mic stand unless anyone else wants to say something. I'm looking at you. No. Nope. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this event that's coming up. It's a youth summit, and it's happening on May 11th. And it sounds fantastic. I think there's going to be like 100 or plus people at WHYY, 6th and Race. Yeah. So tell us about this summit that's coming up. Who'd like to jump in?
So we're actually racing for at least 300 plus people to come out.
All right.
And it's it is the best event in the city. And we just encourage you from ages 13 to 18 to come out and learn about how to make the first step to sustainable changes in their community through policy, social media. This year we'll have a Advocacy 101 and Tobacco 101 session. And it's just a great time and a great experience meeting new people from, I say 8 o'clock in the morning to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that seems like a lot of time, but it happens so fast and you just learn so much in one day, basically.
And you wanted to add something?
Yes, so the Rise Youth Summit is a totally free event. We provide breakfast and lunch. Like Tajay said, we provide trainings, and we're just trying to equip young people from all over the city with the tools they need to take back into their communities and to advocate about the things that they believe in and the things they stand up for, whether it be tobacco, whether it be gun laws, whether it be the Black Lives Matter movement, whether it be animal rights. So we just give them this basic training and these transferable skills that they can use and maybe teach other young people around the city. So we're slowly approaching our goal, quickly approaching. So I just encourage every young person that's hearing this, listening to this, to go out and to apply for the Rise Youth Summit. We have a great keynote speaker. We have Matt Ransdell this year from Texas, who has a story to share worthwhile and worth listening to. Last year we had Samuel Allen, who touched many people. Like, I always cry when I hear him speak. I cried when I heard Matt speak. So we just have people who teach young people these skills and just inspire young people and give them the platform. A lot of times young people don't know that their voices matter and that they count and that someone's watching them. So that's what we tell them at the Rise Youth Summit, that someone is watching them and that their voice can be heard and it can be loud.
Yeah, and I think what's great too is that these skills can be taught. You don't necessarily have to be born with leadership, although I believe all of you have been born with leadership skills, but there are also specific things that you can learn, and I'm sure that you learn more skills to help you be better leaders. How can people register for this event?
So you can go to our Instagram pages. On Instagram, it's at the Advocacy I, or you can go on the _PHILLY 1ST page. All of our youth ambassadors have the link in their bio. So you click the link in the bio. The link is also on the flyer. So you can just type it in on Eventbrite and then you register. It's very quick. It takes about 2 to 5 minutes. It's not like overwhelming. So you can go, I'll say that once again. On Instagram, it's at on Instagram, it's the Advocacy I or _PHILLY 1ST. On Facebook, it's the Advocacy, the Advocacy Institute. And on Twitter, it's Advocacy I. So you can find the link in all of those bios.
The registration link is Third Rise Youth Summit.
The registration link, you need to get to a microphone to share that.
Sorry.
I can hear you.
So the registration link is thirdriseyouthsummit.eventbrite.com. So 3RDEV, riseyouthsummit.eventbrite.com.
Yeah, plus you can Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it and it'll pop
That's
right
always
up.
easy. And if people would like to be a part of the Advocacy Institute and become a youth ambassador like you guys, how do they do that?
So they have the chance to join a 12-week session called the Real Talk Tobacco program, and there they'll learn basically tobacco-related problems in their communities, within their city and their state, and through that they graduate and they become alumni members of the Advocacy Institute. And through the Advocacy Institute, it's a broad range of problems in our community and in our city that they are able to join and help out and basically make the change that they need to.
So under the Advocacy Institute, we run a lot of programs, 12-week cohorts. So we actually have an upcoming cohort for the Young City Planners Initiative that is in Frankfurt. So that's a specific cohort that goes into a specific community and does like a need assessment and to see what the community needs. And we partner with community development centers to see and to gauge what the community needs and to share resources and ideas, and then they do a project and they implement a project in the community to better the community, and that's coming up this summer. Also, what Tajay said, the Real Talk Tobacco class series, that's coming up in October, and you can go through any of these programs to be admitted into the alumni network to re-engage our young people so that they can carry out their action projects, because in the 12-week program, everyone has to create an action project. So 12 weeks is not enough time to make change. So we want it to be sustainable, and we want our young people to continue to be with us. It's not like we just train you and say, okay, go be free and go do what you got to do. So we keep in touch with our young people. So all of our young people in the crowd right now, they're a part of the alumni network.
Okay. And how old do you have to be in order to participate? Harmony, do you know what the age range is, or Sydney?
The age range is from 13 to 18.
Okay, so you can start at 13. That is fantastic. All right, so to wrap things up, I would like to talk about your future, because you all have bright futures, no question about it. So I'd like you to go down the line and just say, what is your vision for your future? And start with you, Marquita.
So my vision for my future is to see sustainable change in not only my community, but all communities. I would like to be a part of making change and making laws and policies surrounded around making those sustainable changes. So.
Okay. Yes?
In the near future, I kind of juggle with a couple of things. I think either I want to be a politician, I definitely want to own my own business, or I want to be a lawyer. So these three things are what I'm seeing in the near future, maybe all three. I actually want to go and serve like developing countries and do like a lot of service work just to kind of understand, number one, like what's going on and what do they need. And I'm not going to be the person that's going to go there and say, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. I had a conversation with someone that works at the Advocacy Institute with us, our alumni network director, and we were having a conversation about how a lot of people try to go places and tell people what they need to do and how they need to change and don't really understand the culture or the background or how they were brought up. And so I would like go and I would live there so I can kind of understand, and then I would use the skills that I have to try to help.
Wonderful. Harmony?
In the future, I want to own my own pharmaceutical company, because I feel like a lot of like the medicine and things that's out today cause addiction, and I want to like change that. Yeah.
We need that for sure. Sydney?
In my future, I plan to continue fighting and advocating for important topics in my community. I'm graduating this year from high school. I'm going to be going to college. So I'm going to be, even though I'm going to be far, might be away from Philly, I'm going to make sure that I'm still active in my college campus, advocating for topics for my campus, implementing policy, any clubs, anything, just making sure that I still am fighting for, advocating, and speaking up about topics in my community.
That's great. And Tajay?
So just like Sydney, in the near future, I'll be graduated from high school and off to college, and I plan on minoring in public health so I can get a deeper education into public health and more than likely come back to Philadelphia and do the same exact thing, but at a higher level so people can hear me better than they hear me now.
Wow, this is great. I want to thank you all for joining us today. You're all so bright, so articulate, and such great leaders, and I am inspired by all of you and hope that people out there check out the Advocacy Institute, the Youth Ambassadors. Become one of you guys. You are really going to make a difference in this world, no question. And then, of course, there's the Rise Youth Summit that's happening on May 11th. It's going to be at WHYY from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Google it and register for it. And I want to thank you all, Marquita Young, Jada Rasuala, Harmony Ellerby, Sydney Grimes, Tajay Daniels, and of course, Amanda Irizarry as well, and all the young people that are out here in the audience. And I'm so proud of you and so inspired by all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Now we'll wrap it out. Go ahead.
Oh, drop a beat, Touch.
Oh, she got it.
I said, yo. Hey. The Rise Youth Summit is coming up. It's on May 11th, and it's really fun. I said, come out and register. Click the link in our bio. Don't forget, be there or be square. You shouldn't be anywhere else because it's really fun. It's really tough. You get the training that you need to become a leader. I didn't rhyme, but that's okay because I got the information out I needed to say. And I'm kind of tough on the beat. Anybody else want to jump on this heat?
Go Sydney. Hey, go Sydney.
When I say rise, y'all say activate. Rise.
Activate.
Rise.
Activate.
When I say rise, y'all say activate. Rise.
Activate.
Rise.
Activate.
Hey, anybody else want to take it?
What's that chant?
My name is Harmony.
Drop the beat again. Drop the beat.
I have nothing else.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you all so much. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.